The rising plate meter is a farm management tool which takes the guesswork out of pasture management by measuring the pasture available anywhere across the milking platform. Plate meter provides an estimate of total pasture mass by measuring the height and density of the pasture, and then calibrates that information into kilograms of dry matter per hectare using a formula. This information can then be used for assessing pasture availability and allocating pasture to the dairy herd, measuring pre and post grazing covers, working out the monthly growth rates and setting grazing rotation length, and importantly for formulating a feed budget for seasonal feed requirements. The plate meter has a round plate. This rises on a grooved rod as the operator places the plate meter onto the pasture. This is often called the plonk. The rising plate is calibrated for weight and area, and during use the plate is supported by the pasture. The taller and denser the pasture, the further off the ground the plate sits. The shaft of the plate meter drops through the grass to rest on the ground. The bottom counter records the position of the plate against the shaft and totals the readings of height and density as each sample is taken. Usually 30 to 50 samples or plonks need to be taken in each paddock, and the formula converts the average reading of the compressed pasture mass into an estimate of dry matter per hectare. The more plonks you take, the more accurate the estimate of the pasture cover can be. There are a few things to remember when using the plate meter in the field. Before you start, check that the plate meter is in good working condition. Maintenance is critical to ensure the reliability and accuracy of the reading. Ensure the battery is charged. Listen for the beep when you turn the plate meter on. Ensure the shaft is clean and the plate is free to move along the shaft. Remove any mud and grass off the shaft which is collected around the base and where the plate attaches. Check the cog is aligned and is moving freely. It is important not to use lubricant on the shaft, as this will build up inside the black outer case and cause the shaft to stick during operation. The plate meter has an electronic counter or pentiometer attached to the shaft, and while this counter is splash proof, it is important not to get the counter wet. At the front of the counter there are two multifunction keys. These are used for accessing information, and while there are variations depending on the type and model of plate meter being used, they all provide the same information. Familiarise yourself with the information provided by these keys. The first key provides average pasture cover. The second key provides the average height and the number of counts. Train your staff in the correct operation techniques so that consistent readings are provided by all those involved in measuring pasture cover. When heading out to measure a paddock, avoid gateways or areas where the cows have pugged or damaged the pasture. Avoid fence lines and water troughs. Try to avoid wet conditions, as water can often build up on the plate, increasing the weight of the plate and give a lower reading. Ensure the walk is a fair representation of the paddock. The reading should be random and not biased by the operator looking where to place the rising plate meter. To do this, walk diagonally across the paddock or walk a W within the paddock. The most important thing is to avoid rolling the plate meter. Rolling will lead to inconsistent measurements. use the plate meter correctly, keep the plate meter vertical. This will keep the plate horizontal to the pasture. The plate falls under its own weight, so there is no need to apply a lot of pressure. Once you have reached the desired number of counts, stop and check for pasture cover. To do this, press the function key for average pasture cover. Before moving to the next paddock, you will need to reset the counter. Press either one or both keys depending on the model to reset the counter back to 0.